The dam. This story takes place when I was in college. One day, a friend invited me for a drive. I knew we had no destination in mind, but I thought it'd be fine to go along. Now I regret that decision immensely. The drive went as it usually does, without any specific destination, just chatting amongst good friends. As we drove around and the conversation began to dwindle, my friend suggested we visit a haunted spot. Since we had no particular place to go and were running out of topics, everyone was on board. It was a dam known for its high number of suicides. We drove into the dam area and parked in a spacious spot. Looking down, we joked, "So this is where people jump from? Yikes." Then one of my friends spotted a staircase leading down. None of us believed in ghosts, and with 4 of us there, we decided to check it out. It reminded me of my childhood, and I felt a thrill. At that moment, I didn't think much of it. I was just as excited as if I were entering a haunted house at an amusement park. We carefully descended the long staircase, guided by the light of a Zippo lighter. Once we reached the bottom, we were met with the incredible sight of water gushing from the dam with tremendous force. It was an overwhelming roar. We stood by the grassy waterside, in awe, shouting about how impressive it was. But then, amidst the roaring water, I heard a faint voice say, "Then." I thought I misheard and figured it was part of the conversation my 2 friends were having. As I continued chatting with another friend, I said, "This place is amazing. If someone jumped in, they probably wouldn't even find the body." Suddenly, the voice became clearer, and I heard, "Then, she." That caught my attention. The voice sounded distinctly feminine. I started to feel scared, but since my friends were still talking, I convinced myself it was just my imagination and kept the conversation going. However, when I turned to look at my friends, one of them was staring at something in the distance, making me look back. To my horror, the 2 friends I had been speaking with were now looking around, seemingly searching for something. "What's wrong?" one of them asked. They came closer and said, "Did you hear that strange voice?" Chills ran down my spine, and as I was about to respond, we all heard a voice say. We exchanged fearful glances and fell silent. Amid the violent sounds of the water, that voice was undeniably. We all understood by our expressions that we had all heard it. After a moment of silence, it felt like we were driven by a morbid curiosity to hear that voice again, so we tried to be. Maybe the other th. After some time passed without hearing anything, one of my friends muttered, "What was the?" We began joking among ourselves. "Hey, could it be a ghost? Maybe we can hear it again?" We agreed and fell silent once more. The sound of the water continued to thunder, but suddenly, it felt as though the noise faded for a moment before coming back sharp. Then we heard clearly, "Why do I have to die?" The voice sounded like a woman's strained whisper. One of my friends, looking at the surface of the water, screamed. There, in the mist from the water spraying up from tea. Or rather, it felt like she was rising up from the depth. Her dark, bluish. We all screamed and frantically ran back up the stairs, tripping over ourselves in the dark as we scrambled back up, jumping into the car, and we stayed together until dawn. And then, later, when we all talked about that night, I even shared the experience with some other friends, saying, "I saw a ghost at th." One of them, who I was close with but didn't hang out with much. When he insists, that friend Andy, the 3 of them descended the staircase and saw something just as. But when they reached the top, no matter how long they waited, their friend, they couldn't go down to check. But they also couldn't just leave him be. They kept tea. In the morning, they hesitantly went down the stairs, and there they found their friend lying dead, his face contorted in a terrifying expression. The 2 of them fled the scene without confirming whether he was alive or dead. They then reported it to the police. His body bore bruises, indicating he had fallen down the stairs, but the cause of death remained undetermined. Of the two who went with him, one lost his mind. The other reportedly explained everything to the police, the dead friend's parents, and so on. The deceased friend's father thought we had encouraged his son to visit the dam and barged into the homes of all four of us, yelling, "Your son died because of you. Don't go to places where spirits wander for fun." Although I didn't encourage him to go, I remained silent, unable to respond. After the friend's father shouted at me for a long time, the friend's mother, who had come with him, said, "I'm sorry. He's just sad because he lost his son. He has no outlet for his anger. Your son went there by his own judgment. His death isn't your fault." Hearing that, I couldn't help but cry. I realized that deep down I felt responsible in some way. The next day, I received a call from the friend's father. He apologized for shouting at me the previous day. I couldn't say anything and just hung up. Afterward, the four of us who had gone to the dam never spoke about that night again. The one who had gone to the dam with the deceased friend had become closer with us. We occasionally visited the hospital where the one who had gone mad stayed, but we still never talked about what happened at the dam. It was truly terrifying. Even after seeing the ghost, I still didn't fully understand the fear. It wasn't until my friend died that I finally grasped what it meant. I still haven't heard what the only other friend who remained safe experienced down by the dam during our second visit, and I don't think I ever will.